Guys, greetings. Welcome back to this is day 7 of your Sedona virtual retreat. My name is Carrie, and our topic for today's video is brought to us by some of you who have been asking questions around how to move past fear. So that's what we're going to explore today. Let's get started. So I want to begin our session today by just talking a little bit about fear and the function of it. So fear is primarily connected to uncertainty of the future. Unless we are in situations where we are actually in danger in the here and now, all other fear above and beyond that is connected to thoughts of the future, and it's usually worry and uncertainty. So the important thing to remember is that although it is normal for our minds to have fearful thoughts, it's really important to remember that those fearful thoughts are not in any way, shape, or form foretelling of the reality of our future. Sometimes we can become confused along those lines, and we think if we're fearing something, that must mean it's going to happen, and that's not the case. Our fears are not our silent knowing. Our fears are not our intuition speaking to us. In fact, one of the ways that you can discern your intuition is by noticing if there's a fear attached to it or not. If there's fear coming up, it's not your intuition. It's just the fear of the mind. And so step 1 in disengaging from fear and moving beyond fear is recognizing that it is connected to thoughts of uncertainty or worry about the future. And what we want to do is stay in the here and now. And so I want to take this sort of step-by-step approach that I typically work with clients that I see in person around shifting your paradigm, so to speak. So we're going to begin by looking at the 4 basic guidelines. Really, they're the 4 basic guidelines for living, and today we're working with them in the way of moving beyond fear. So the 4 basic guidelines for living, the 4 basic guidelines for moving beyond fear, in this case, number 1, accept your feelings, which we'll talk more about in a moment. Number 2, discern the truth of your reality. Number 3, know your goals. Number 4, do what needs done. Take action. So here's the thing. Accepting your feelings. So when we're speaking of fear, you want to start by really sitting with it, acknowledging it. Notice where you feel it, what it feels like, where you're feeling it in the body. And then you're going to begin a process of discerning the truth around that, which I'm going to guide you through right now. So here's a little sort of process or diagram for you to imagine that ultimately is connected to the outcomes we experience in life. So our fears, or our feelings, in this case we're talking about fear, our feelings are always because of what we are thinking. And usually it's what we are unconsciously thinking, but I'm going to guide you through a process to help you discern what the unconscious thoughts are behind the feelings that you're having. And in this case today, again, we're talking about fear. So this is why this is important. It's because our feelings are connected to our thoughts unconsciously, but our feelings are what most inspire our actions in life. And our actions are what inspire the outcomes we experience. And so if we are unconsciously making actions that are based on our fears, then the result will be a fear-based result. Like attracts like. It is virtually impossible to have a high vibration outcome come from a low vibration beginning of energy. So if I'm taking action on fear, is that going to easily produce a high vibration outcome? No. At the same time, if I'm having a high vibrational, if I'm holding a high vibrational energy, is that going to result in a low vibrational outcome? No. Like attracts like. So if we want high vibrational outcomes, we have to begin in a high vibrational state of being. So what I'm going to share with you now is a process that I learned from one of my teachers, one of my shamanic teachers, and I use this for myself and for my clients all the time. It's fill in the blank. Today we're going to use it in regard to fear, but you can use it for any belief that is connected to like an old wound. So it begins like this. The reason I feel, fill in the blank, today we're using fear, is because I believe, fill in the blank. So the reason I feel fearful of this is because I believe this. So ask yourself, what are you feeling fearful of? And again, the reason we're talking about this today is because a lot of people are having fears triggered, and we want to have tools to move beyond that so that we can have positive high vibrational outcomes. So ask yourself personally, what fears have been coming up for you? And then you ask yourself, the reason I feel fear of this is because I believe this. Then we're going to begin a process of reframing that is going to be based on factual truth. For example, I'll use a hypothetical example. The reason I fear not being able to pay my bills is because I believe that our economy is crashing. Okay, on one level, it is factually true that the situation that we're in the world right now will result in, we will have some economic backlash of that. But does that necessarily mean to you specifically that you will not be able to pay your bills? No, it's a presumption, it's an assumption. The best thing to do is reframe by remembering abundance consciousness, that life in and of itself is abundantful in nature. The Creator created us, and the Creator created everything that we need to sustain ourselves. So it's true that maybe we need to be a little bit more innovative, maybe we need to be a little bit more creative and resourceful around how we are receiving our sustenance, but trusting that what we need to sustain ourselves will come to us is, in this case, a good and I feel truthful way to shift out of the fear. So we're using this modality, the reason I feel this is because I believe this, as a tool to reframe our focus. And basically what you want to do is you want to shift away from presumptions and assumptions and boil things down to the factual truth. So yes, maybe it's factually true that I'm laid off right now and I don't have my usual income, but it's also factually true that I'm capable of being open to divine inspiration, creative ideas, innovative ways of shifting my focus so that I can get back on track with sustaining myself. That is factually true. We all have the ability to be open to something new. So, using this modality to really dial into a focus for yourself right now. So, moving beyond fear is connected to finding your focus. What's my focus now? Which might be different than it has been previously, but we're being open to new, innovative, creative ways of doing things now. Find your focus, and then establish priorities around that focus. Know what your capacities are. Again, be innovative, be creative within a practical understanding of what your capacities are, what's available to you right now, and then take action. So it is true that when we align clearly defined goals and objectives with dedication to not give up on our goal, paired with daily action towards that goal, you will be led into positive outcomes one way or another. So we always want to be open to things manifesting in ways that are different than what we previously conceived of, but trust that if I'm clear in my intentions, I'm holding space, I'm dedicated, I'm taking action, positive results will come of that. This is the best mindset to be in to shift out of fear into more of a fantastic, high vibrational state of being. Now here's the thing. On a deeper level, in order for a true shift to occur, truly shifting out of fear into a more affirmative state of being, transformation has to happen on both mental and feeling levels. So I'm going to give you 4 approaches that you can take to work on making a true and lasting shift. So the first practice is affirmations. Coming up with, designing, and working on affirmations that are affirming abundance consciousness, affirming prosperity, affluence, all of that type of thing. So it might look like, I now choose to be open to abundance. The affirmation I shared with you all the other day, I am being divinely guided, supported, protected, and blessed. That sort of covers all bases. But be creative. Come up with affirmations that are supporting you in making a shift towards abundance consciousness at this time. Ask yourself questions. What does it look like when I'm living an abundantful life right now? So you want to ask yourself sort of inquisitive, thought-provoking questions that support creative inspiration and innovative modalities. So asking questions to yourself. What does it look like if I explore this direction? What does it look like if I explore this direction instead? And align that with visualization. Envision yourself. Use your imagination. Our imagination is an amazing tool that can act as a container for specific energies that we want to shift into. So use your imagination. Again, what does it look like? How do I feel in my life? What does my life look like? Who am I? How am I when I'm living my highest and best life? When I'm living life free from fear? What does that look like? Imagine what that looks like. Let yourself feel the feeling, and this is actually the most important component. Feel the feeling of what it feels like when you are living a life free of fear, when you are in abundance, you're in affluence. And when we think of abundance, affluence, and prosperity, think in terms of holistic, not just money, right? But think in terms of a feeling of success that comes from living in alignment with your inner guidance. Think of abundance as being an abundance of health, well-being, opportunity, potential, possibilities. Think of the broader term of what affluence, prosperity, and abundance means to you on the essence level. Invite that in, embody that energy yourself. If you are embodying the energy of trusting the plenty and abundance of the universe, you basically are going to be a vibrational match to that. And in some way, shape, or form, even in the face of apparent constriction or apparent difficulty or apparent lack, if you're holding your vibration in a higher state of being that is open to being guided by the vibration of abundance, that will happen for you. But it's only going to happen if you actually practice it. So just knowing it isn't going to do it. Hearing about it and putting it in the back of your mind isn't going to do it. You have to actually practice it. And so these modalities that I'm sharing with you today are ways of practicing it. So for today, my message is to encourage all of you to practice these things and see for yourself what the results are. When you catch yourself being in fear, implement these practices, shift your energy, hold the energy space. The vibration, the feeling, the energy space is the most important thing, because that's what magnetizes to you situations that will match that. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm trying to keep these videos on the short side, but I will check in and see you all tomorrow, okay? Have a blessed, healthy, safe day. Namaste.